Hello, 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 and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the world today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube, and previewing and reviewing the latest shows from AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, James J., alongside Kaliko Yachts.
What is good, everybody? What is it, like the third day of Kwanzaa? Happy Chris Mahana Kwanzaa to everybody. Something like
Exactly.
that.
And of course, Scooter Dust, who is not here tonight. Um, but it was a good week for Wrestling With as we interviewed Vincent Michaels on Tuesday. Great individual just starting his wrestling career, and the future is bright for the son of wrestling. And then Lola Harvey on Wednesday, in the same boat as Vincent, um, just starting her career, and I'm excited to see what happens. This upcoming Tuesday, we have Jade Blackwell on the show. Just actually a year into her wrestling career as well. And we talk about that. We talk about teaming with childhood favorites, winning the Empress Championship, some independent matches of hers, and a hell of a lot more. And then on Wednesday, we have Jessica Black. Up front in Canada, she won a tournament that actually got her to a scholarship at the Nightmare Factory. We talk about that, being a teacher, the advantages and disadvantages of wrestling with your significant other, zombie wrestling. That time she was on I Can See Your Voice, a hell of a lot more. But don't take my word for it. Here's some clips now.
I gotta throw Nickelback in there somewhere because I've grown up on Nickelback.
And Jade has officially turned heel.
Oh man, I can already see the comments now. Nickelback, really? Nickelback? I will defend Nickelback.
Is Canada's greatest national treasure Ryan Reynolds?
No. I mean, he's up there. He's up there. I enjoy him. He's fun, and he does a lot of good. I don't. Yeah, he does. What I see, he does a lot of good. But no, he's not a. He's, we have other things. We've given other things to the world than just Ryan Reynolds, and he is good. I don't mean to insult him, but yeah. Didn't Bret Hart get voted? Bret Hart got voted like higher up on the most important Canadians than he did.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it was a while ago, so to be fair, maybe Ryan Reynolds wasn't even part of, like, he may not have been popular at that time yet. So
Right.
Maybe that would be different now. But yeah, no, I mean, again, I like him, but.
Well, then, in your opinion, who is Canada's greatest national treasure?
Jessica Black.
Hell yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't know. That's it. Again, these are hard questions you're asking. They're good, very good questions, though. I'd go with Celine Dion more than that's right. And I'm sure people would hate me for saying that, but she's still done a lot of good for Canada.
You said Celine Dion?
I did.
Wow, the Iron Maiden showing her true colors.
Yeah. Hey, my heart will go on. You can't beat that.
Alright, and then on the 19th we got Jake Painter, the 20th Angel Blue, and then on the 27th Katrina Creed. Alright, I think we are done putting ourselves over. Because it is a great day for wrestling, and we are wrestling with the news. Came out earlier, well, actually yesterday, to be exact. TNA Impact will be streaming on Endeavor's um, streaming service, which obviously Endeavor is WWE, UFC, etc. Um, is this just keeping the network a little bit busy until WWE gets off Peacock, or could we see a TNA WWE partnership to some degree coming up in the future?
I mean, it would be a partnership, right? Because Endeavor is a separate entity of WWE, so that's where it kind of the dice gets tricky, right? Like everybody's thinking, oh gosh, it's Endeavor, so it's WWE, but WWE is just a company under the Endeavor umbrella, So you can't really say it's WWE's doing more so than it's Endeavor's doing.
Well, WWE has to have somewhat of a say in in it, right? Because they are under that banner.
Not really. Kind of like how it's kind of like how what was it, Disney owns ESPN, and if Disney gets another sports channel, what the fuck ESPN can gonna do about it? Nothing, because the parent company owns it all.
Okay, so we shouldn't expect anything to come of this with WWE and
I mean, I wouldn't. I can't see it happening because it would be a bigger deal if the bigger deal would be if Impact was on USA.
yeah.
That directly fucks with their bottom line. You see what I'm saying?
All right.
So that's where I would be. But other than that, nah, I'm not too deep.
Well, what about we got it's rumored that Tyler Bates might be moving up to the main roster. The big strong boy. What do you think if this does actually happen? Does Tyler Bate do well on the main roster?
Mm, ah, it's tricky with him too because I thought he would have went up after like he had the classics like with Pete Dunne and Gunther, them cats in striking while the iron's hot with them, but I guess they thought he was too young to develop. You forget he's been there since what,
2016.
19?
Yeah, he
Like
was 19.
he was like he was like 19 there. So eventually, sink or swim time, right?
Well, first, where would he do better on Raw or SmackDown?
Um, Good question. Because I don't know. Is Dunn still on Raw, right?
Dunn's on SmackDown.
Well, maybe SmackDown. But Gunther's on Raw. So that's where it's. I mean, people who got the familiarity with him, I think would help. Um, it's also a matter of how they bring him up, right? They just can't. If they're gonna change his name to Byler Tate or some shit like that. So
Tyler Taint?
yeah, they just flip the names around.
Yeah.
Like Mad Braddocks.
Brad Maddox, Reddix.
I think when he got released, he called himself Mad Braddock. But yeah,
Well, maybe he should have been releasing something else while he was in WWE, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
I think Tyler, it, it's kind of double-edged sword, honestly. If Tyler goes to SmackDown, you know he's going to be associated with the Brawling Brutes. I mean, there's no two ways about it. And
Right.
but if he goes to Raw, he's probably going to be thrusted into a rivalry with Walter Gunther, I should say, for obvious reasons. But what exactly happens to him after that rivalry?
After that,
Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
And the question is what? Because I guess he was there to build a persona. But the question is, what's his persona?
He's the big strong boy. Tyler Bates. Tyler Bates. Bates.
Nah, 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 nah. That was. It felt like 10 years ago.
It was 10 years ago.
That
Really,
literally
Tyler?
felt like 10 years ago. Tyler, babe. Nah, 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 nah.
If they let him have a, I won't be as generous as I could be. If they give him 15 minutes with Walter on paid preview, would that be enough to get the people on his side in order to do something with him after that rivalry? Like, do something,
Nope.
maybe an
Nope.
anthem.
Nope. Nope. You still gotta have something to say. Still gotta have a persona to connect to the people. So that's the biggest thing.
Can you name a Tyler Bate promo that stuck out to you?
One that sticks out. Ooh. Trying to think. What sticks out?
I can't necessarily remember him even talking on the mic.
Hmm. It's usually Trent Seven, but I don't know. Yeah.
Like, and yeah, he hasn't had. I can't. Like I said, I can't remember him actually saying anything on the mic. So that might be a.
I mean, they gave him some chances. I just don't remember what the fuck he said. I can't think of one promo that like sticks out.
And that might be a problem. So maybe SmackDown would be the best way to showcase him. Throw him in the Brawling Brutes, and you're good to go.
I mean, it's a problem when Nakamura can't speak English, and I can remember more promos than Tyler Bate. No, I'm dead ass.
I know you're
I
not.
still remember Nakamura. Sorry, no speak English. And that, I remember that more than goddamn anything Tyler Bate has said in 10 years.
I don't. Nakamura hasn't even. There's been Nakamura promos where he literally says nothing, and they're more memorable. But we shall see where that leads. Um, Something that is possibly leading to something. Um, Ken Shamrock has merchandise released on WWE.com, which leads a lot of people to believe that he reached some type of deal with WWE and will possibly go into the Hall of Fame, um, next year, for WrestleMania. Your thoughts, Kaliko?
I mean, ain't that many people they can induct that's left, right? That's what I was going over there with somebody else. I was like, who else can they induct that's not been inducted before? Other than people who think people should be in. Rock wasn't, no, other than Rock and Batista and all them. I'm talking about people who, you know, fond memories of. Because
Right.
Owen's a no go. I mean, you could make the case for demolition, but it's not going to be a headliner type of year. I mean, they could have a headliner, but he might be the headliner.
I mean, what about Triple
I have to
H?
prepare yourself for that.
I mean, what about Triple H as a headliner?
Uh, he could, but I don't see him doing himself over like that. As a wrestler, he would have done that, but as a GM, I don't see him doing that unless it's like literally the bare minimum, last minute.
This sounds a little
Because
insane. Yeah.
remember, he's already in with DX.
Right, but he's not
So
in, individually as just Triple A's.
uh, honestly, I think if I bet he's waiting till his chapter is done as the man in WWE to induct himself.
This sounds a little bit insane. What if they induct Vince McMahon?
Are people clamoring for Vince McMahon though?
Will they ever
See,
clamor
that's the
for him?
thing.
Would they ever clamor for him?
But I feel like he would be, as much as people don't think he would do this, I feel like he would be a behind the scenes type of motherfucker to induct himself. He wouldn't want all the attention.
True. But, back to Ken Shamrock. Is it a big deal that Ken Shamrock may possibly be back in WWE?
I mean, if he's in the Hall of Fame, yeah, that's. I mean, I wouldn't say that's a big deal, but I think he was the genesis of that MMA WWE crossover.
I mean, he did
He,
his match against the promo leading into his match against The Rock at WrestleMania 14 was the genesis of If You Smell What The Rock Is Cooking.
that is true, but I think his impact is more in the sense of people may not brought no he at that time he brought credibility to that sport as an MMA fighter. Because you
Right.
think you're talking about a former. Because keep in mind, back then UFC wasn't what it was now. But when you think about it, it's like damn, they had the best UFC fighter in the world in WWE at that time. Like, fuck out of here.
Okay.
In his prime, nonetheless. But it's good that he's in. I don't think he's a headliner, but a second filler, yeah. Former Intercontinental Champion, impervious part of the Attitude Era. So yeah, they brought that sport credibility.
Fair enough. You know, speaking of bringing credibility to a sport outside of pro wrestling, Brock Lesnar in a wig, I mean Maya Lesnar, set a shock put record um, at her school. I believe she's 21 years old. Did you see this bit of news, Kaliko?
Yes, and the only reason it's a big deal because it's Brock Lesnar's daughter. Come on.
I mean, yeah.
It's track and field, shot put.
I mean, even if it's not Brock Lesnar's daughter, it's still, impressive.
Would we be
And
talking about it if it wasn't Brock Lesnar's daughter?
no, we wouldn't.
Exactly. That's my point. There you go. Shakari Richardson broke the 100-meter fast world record. No one gives a shit unless her name was Shakari Johnson, cousin of Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Not knocking the feet,
Right. But I mean,
but people thinking, oh, she broke the shot put record. She's ready to go to WWE. Like, wait, what? What are you talking about? It's shot put.
you could shot put some of the goals, I suppose. Tell
If
me
she
you.
shot puts Nia Jax, I would be surprised. There you go.
Well, she could easily shot put Selena Vega.
And Chelsea.
Chelsea has some height on her. Oh, Kyrie.
Shot put Piper Niven. Then come holler at me.
Fair enough. Somebody that got shot put this week, I should say. AEW fired the vice president of post productions. His name is Kevin Sullivan. No, not that Kevin Sullivan. Um,
Actually, it was that Kevin Sullivan.
I heard that it wasn't that Kevin Sullivan.
Well, from what I saw, unless I'm mistaken, the Taskmaster Kevin Sullivan.
I didn't hear that it was. I didn't hear it was that Kevin Sullivan. I heard that it was another Kevin Sullivan.
God damn it! They need to quit confusing me with these Kevin Sullivans. Give me a name like Mad Braddock's.
It's Sullivan Kevin.
Seven Coverland.
I I didn't necessarily take this as a big deal, but it seems like a lot of people within AEW is making a big deal of it. Um, some like with obviously QT Marshall um resigned last week. Is this a sign that AEW is going in a different direction? Maybe not necessarily a good direction going forward from this point.
Well, I don't know if it's a good direction, but it's a different direction. But keep in mind, Tony is going to do that anyway. Like, you think he spent all this money for him to go, oh, yeah, y'all just do what y'all want to do?
Well, this guy was in AEW from the very beginning of in 2019. So he wasn't like somebody that they just brought in and obviously and then just didn't work out. He had somewhat of a tenure with the company. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but sometimes there's a difference. 10 years probably just to be a placeholder until that person gets on their footing. Kind of like how Alexa Bliss did on the job training for Bray Wyatt's gimmick and then took the gimmick. Shit happens. Or it could be they feel like he's going a different direction and he doesn't want to go that route. Or his style doesn't fit with the new vision that he wants to go with. It's a lot of variable factors. But you can't judge it off of the initial. You can only judge it off the results that it will yield next year.
Well, this is coming at arguably the most strangest time in AEW's history. They're making money they're the most profitable they've been in the first 4 years that they've been a company, and yet they're nowhere near the popularity. They're not selling nearly as many tickets, and their ratings are at an all-time low. How does that make sense?
Well, ah, I don't think that the because no matter what, they're going to have at least a bare minimum loyal group that's going to stick with it no matter what. I told you it's the base. They have a base. Is it gonna? And I don't think any wrestling company will ever be as popular as WWF because the problem is even when you think of nostalgia wrestling, you're thinking WWF. You're not thinking anybody else. So that's the problem.
Right,
So they can try to the cows come home, but they'll never be number two. But they're good. They're okay with being an alternate, and the base loves them because of the fact that they're. It's like the base loves them more for who they're not than who they are. If that makes sense.
right. I mean, they're not getting casual viewers at any point in time right now. They're not looking at those people whatsoever. Um, but do you even consider them a number two at this point? You know, New Japan has always been, more. It's garnered more attraction from the non-traditional WWE crowd, and obviously, TNA is trying to make a push to be in that conversation again. Whether they succeed or not is still to be determined. Um, is this, low point at a really bad time?
Well, what is considered a low point? Because to me, it's like if their low point is that they're the absolute number two company in the country, then what's considered a low point?
But they're not considered. They're number two de facto because Tony has money. That's the only
But
reason.
it takes money to make money, sir.
I mean, I guess if you say it that way, well, they are making some money. Um, Tickets went on sale last week for All in Wembley Part Two. The setup for the arena this year was 44,452, and they sold 33,923. 10 months in advance of the actual event, with nobody announced, nothing promised, nothing, nothing, nothing. Um, which is honestly impressive, but it's still not what the 71,000 that they did last year. Well, this year I should say.
Because that 70,000 was impromptu.
Right.
Remember, that shit just came out the blue.
Right.
So, and it's kind of like WrestleMania 2 for WrestleMania 1. The first one is always going to be because it's the first. So, I mean, it was the first time in London, first time overseas. People were like excited. And this was people wanting to be like, oh, I'm a part of AEW's global expansion, if you will.
Well, I'm not. Do they sell out? Do they reach the 44 or by September, or could possibly some of these tickets actually decrease in a way? Because some people don't go to the events. You know what I mean? Um. So yeah, I guess we'll see where AEW and All In and all of that happens. If Will Ospreay's in a big match, does it go to 50, maybe 60,000?
What, the hometown discount?
Yeah.
I, are you expecting Will Ospreay to move 30,000 tickets by himself?
Well, I mean, maybe Omega versus Osprey. I mean, they already gave away Jericho Osprey.
Uh, I mean, Jericho. Unless Jericho Ospreay too. I don't know.
I mean, do you expect MJF to be the champion by then?
Jesus, let's hope not.
Right.
Let us hope not.
But I mean, it's like you said, the people that are going to like AEW are going to go to the show. They have at least 60 to 70,000 people that have that. So, I
That's
guess,
what I said. They got a base. They have a base. Whatever you say, they have a loyal ass base.
but I
Just
mean,
because they want to be nostalgic attitude era in 2023.
that's it's fun. It's great that you're doing, overseas these numbers. But I mean, I'm sure you saw the pictures of the last few AEW shows. They are not filling these arenas. They're getting maybe 2,000 plus people a week on their shows.
Well, I mean, it just, but that's why they always did the shows in Chicago because they knew they would have a base in Chicago. They're going to spots that are not usually popular.
I mean, there's other places where wrestling is really hot other than, Chicago. I mean, they've alienated the Chicago fan base now with the whole CM Punk thing. Uh, but I mean, there's just so many times you could go to Chicago or New York or stay in
Or Jacksonville.
They actually haven't been to Jacksonville that much lately.
I mean, I swear at one point it seemed like that's all they knew.
That was during the pandemic, so I mean, it's a
No,
little.
even after, no, even after the pandemic. Jeez. It felt like it was just their Chicago. Their Chicago.
They do well the first time they come somewhere, and then the second time, it's less and less and less.
Um, oh, I wouldn't think Dago wasn't really that popular,
But it was the first time that they were there.
but I would have thought they would have been better, considering that SoCal has been begging. I mean, California in general has been begging. It felt like they hot pot everybody except California.
Right.
And then, so, But it also goes to show if you've been to one, you've been to all of them. It's like a Tyler Perry movie. You seen one, you seen them all.
Sure, you're not wrong. And speaking of seeing him once, you've seen him all times. Ric Flair. Um, Tony Khan revealed that they're not actually paying Ric Flair to be on AEW TV. Ric Flair is paying AEW, which, doesn't surprise me. Kalika,
He's paid by what?
he's being paid, Ric Flair, the Woo Energy drink, is the one actually paying AEW, to sponsor the drink and, have appearances by Ric Flair.
Jesus Christ. So Woo Energy Drink is the official drink of AEW.
Yep.
Hey, Lord help us all. But I mean, hey, if he likes it, I love it. Ric Flair is just gonna keep doing this shit till he dies in the ring. At minimum.
Or until he actually takes a drink of Woo.
I wonder if he actually drank it. Don't you wonder?
I'm thinking that he's not. If he has taken a drink, I'm sure that it was replaced with something that his body could actually tolerate.
Johnny Walker Blue?
I was gonna say like water.
Oh, I see. Looks like a Johnny Walker Blue type of person.
Yeah. Alright.
Just saying.
I believe that will actually conclude this episode. Nothing else to talk about. Maybe we'll talk about some of the things on SmackDown next week.
What? We're not gonna talk about this upcoming Jingle Bell Knox Chron- shout out Chronicles of Kaliko. We are in Pomona getting ready for night one of 2 nights of Knox Pro Wrestling.
and you
Very
could
interesting.
and you could check out our YouTube page for and you could check out our YouTube page when those drop. Kaliko's Chronicles coming back for the end of the year. Some treats for the Christmas season. And join us next Saturday as we preview and we preview AEW's World's End and New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom. What number are they on? Wrestle Kingdom
11, 12? No, it's like
18.
17.
Wrestle
18.
Kingdom
There you
18.
go. See, I knew it.
Um, and then the next 2 weeks after that, we got for you what's that date? On the 23rd, we have our top five list. We'll be doing our top five male wrestlers, our top five female wrestlers, and our top five tag teams of 2023. It should be interesting and one you shouldn't want to miss. And then on Saturday the 30th, you could join us for a Royal Rumble watch along. Um, what's Royal Rumble? We're not even sure yet. But when it drops, you will be surprised. It should be a good time. And if you don't want to see the 10 hours that is AEW's World's End, you can join us for maybe just an hour with for some good times and some laughs. All right. Thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by World Energy and Play Away One Coffee. Join us this Tuesday as we interview Jade Blackwell. This Wednesday as we interview Jessica Black. And join us every Tuesday and Wednesday for new incredible interviews. Follow the show at Wrestling with E, but on Twitter and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. And where can we find Kaliko?
I'm Kaliko, getting ready for this show. It's gonna be litty. It's gonna be litty. I think they got a shopping cart hardcore match. Like, how can you get hard? I mean, I would quit that match just if it hits my ankle. So I'm willing to see what they can come up with in that match.
For Kaliko Yachts and Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.